Hello, Gihan. Thank you so much for joining the Spotlight on Internal Communication series that I run. And I'm delighted to have you on my show. In fact, I'm be speaking to you about ESG and communications because I know this is a very interesting topic. A lot of organizations are talking about it. A lot of organizations are doing great work in the space. But what I see is a gap where internal communications can definitely fill in, and a lot of communicators can learn a lot about how we can get ESG communication right. So before we get started, if you could quickly introduce yourself for our audience.
First of all, thank you, Aniso, for inviting me. And hi, everyone. As Aniso said, my name is Gihan Hyde, and my company is called Communique. We are a team of 9 at the moment, and we are from underdeveloped countries and underrepresented communities. What we do is we help organizations with 3 things. We integrate sustainability and ESG, which stands for environmental, social, and governance initiatives within the organization's business model. The second way we help organization is by communicating ESG and sustainability on behalf of organizations, and specifically internally, to ensure that their employees are on board with the strategy and they understand what is their role. And thirdly, but not least importantly, it's the training sessions. We conduct several training sessions for employees to help them understand what is ESG, what is sustainability, and why are they important to play a role in bringing all of these initiatives to life and help grow the business. We are a B Corp certified organization, means that we are one of the most 500 top most impactful business in the UK. And we are the only Black, Arab, female-founded organization to get this certification.
Wow, fantastic and brilliant credentials. Thank you so much, Gihan, again. And let me start with that. You mentioned things are still evolving. And so just wanted to understand from you, why isn't ESG still core to organizational communications?
It depends, honestly, Aniso, on the organization. It is core to some organization, and specifically the listed and stock exchange organizations, because the law is forcing them to do so. Mm-hmm. But if you're a middle size to a small size organization, the law is not there for you yet, and it's not haunting you yet to report and think about sustainability. Because to be frank, and this is me being very transparent, there are 3 reasons why organizations think about sustainability and ESG. Number 1, they're being forced by their investors. Right. Number 2, they're being forced by the regulators. And number 3, they're being forced by their customers. So that's the only reason why organizations actually, and there is a number 4, which is actually more important than anything. They want to be sustainable. They want to change their purpose and become people on planet focused. So there are 4 reasons why organizations focus on ESG and people on planet. However, is it core yet in all through? No, because there's no need for them yet. And that's why it's not taking importance on their communications. Though it is prominent, and believe it or not, the marketers and the PR professionals are more advanced in that because they have to talk outwards. Right. But from an internal point of view, it hasn't yet picked up drastically as I would have hoped it would by now.
Got it. Yeah, that's interesting. So what can internal communicators do to get more adept at the space? Because this is evolving and this is something which they probably haven't realized the value and potential of it. So what are your recommendations there?
My recommendations are, number 1, you need to understand it. As internal communicators, we have to understand it, because we are the voice and ears and eyes of the organization and the people within our organization. So for us to help the organization to grow, we have to understand why the organization is focusing on sustainability and sustainable growth. And for us to do so, we have to upskill ourselves to understand, because ESG and sustainability are very complicated. It's a very complicated topic.
Got it.
And for us to humanize it and communicate it effectively, to change that mindset, we have to upskill ourselves. So that's the first thing. We need to take courses to understand what it is. The second thing, once we're upskilled, I would recommend that you use a document called a materiality assessment. And a materiality assessment is literally a document that outlines what are the important aspects of sustainability that the organization wants to focus on. Once we figure out what are the important aspects, we then need to weave it into our business as usual communications, and not treat it as a change comms or a standalone campaigns, because we will not succeed in changing the mindset of our employees.
Got it. So that's interesting that you mentioned it, because I know it sounds like a lot of hard work, and I'm also GRI certified with KPMG, so I understand the materiality aspect of it.
I do like a GRI report. I love a GRI. I don't know about you, Aniso, but I love reading it. Love reading GRIs.
Fantastic. So I wanted to ask you, so from a leadership context, so what tips do you have for leaders to make ESG core to, or ESG communications core to the organization? Because often they're so engrossed with other areas that this becomes something else which doesn't take priority. So how do you kind of get leaders to start thinking about it differently?
Leaders will always be thinking about it if they are forced to think about it, okay? But they will not think about it from a communications point of view. It's not their skill sets. Not all leaders are communicators, okay? Our role as internal comms is to provide the leaders with the data to showcase that it's really important that they are the face of sustainability and the initiative and the strategic direction. And the way we should do that is by getting the data from our employees to figure out how can we push the sustainability mindset from top down and also from bottom up. Because if you think as our role, okay, as internal communicators, think of it as an Uber map. So if you order a map, if you order a car, for example, you could see the car. So that's the North Star that we as internal comms need to focus on. Okay. But then as employees, we also need to see the car moving. And that's the whole idea of the Uber. So you could be delayed for 5-6 minutes, for example, and your car not coming, but at least you can see it coming. So that gives you reassurance that sustainability is integrated within your organization.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that's a great analogy. I liked how you kind of portrayed it. So switching gears, thinking about hiring and recruitment of ESG communication roles, because that's something which comms teams and leaders usually don't consider. So what kind of profiles are ideal for ESG communication roles?
I think the ideal team, not just roles, but team, should include a sustainability technical professional, because he or she will be providing us with the complicated data and all of the jargons that we have no idea what they are. But at least they're giving us something. And then when we have them as part of our team, we will be able to demystify the technicality behind the work that they're doing. So I think one of the members should have a skill set that entails either environmental impact or social impact. Okay.
Got it.
Then we need a data analyst, because it's the data analyst who will help us as internal comms to demystify all the data that's coming from the different directions. So for example, if you're building a GRI report, which stands for the Global Reporting Initiative, the report requires data. It requires data from HR, from health and safety, for example, from internal communication, etc. As internal comms, we need to either have someone who would help us understand this data in a better way, or we work with someone in the sustainability team who's a data scientist.
Got it.
And the third but not last is critical thinking. We have to start thinking critically. We have to start challenging and asking questions when we are being given the information from the sustainability teams, because we are the gatekeepers when it comes to employee advocacy.
Right.
And if we don't understand what we're communicating and we're not verifying what we're communicating, we are in danger of greenwashing, which is the concept of saying or stating facts that are not true, or talking about an initiative that is not true. So to give you an example of a greenwashing initiative, there will be so there is a cleaning product, and they claimed that their tops are made from ocean plastic. But when you dig deeper, it's actually not really plastic from the oceans. It's actually made out of plastic from the beaches next to the oceans. So that is considered greenwashing, because you're not telling your consumers and your employees the real truth.
Good.
So we need to think, and we need to start questioning every data set and every message that's coming out from the sustainability team, so we can understand it.
Fantastic. As we wrap up, Gihan, just wanted to ask you, so what, you've been consulting on various assignments with various clients, what are some of the best practices you've seen with ESG communications from your experience?
So you're right, we have been consulting, and we are sector agnostic, so we're not sector specific. And we're so far worked with 8 different sectors. And the best practice I have personally seen is being transparent about not being perfect and not getting everything correct, and asking for help from your employees to help you figure out how to rectify and how to ensure that your facts and your initiatives are truly impactful and truthful. Transparency is key. Honesty is key. Consistency and clarity is key. Humanize you, and humanizing your message is key as well.
Fantastic. These are brilliant insights. Thank you so much, Gihan. I'm sure there's a lot to take away from the conversation and from the perspectives that you shared about ESG. So thank you again for taking the time to do this interview.
Thank you for having me. I am forever grateful. Thank you, Anisa.